isn't limited to planets with native life.
Good day, Captain.
Hope we have time to take some scans.
Didn't realize they were teaching you volunteers to fly like that. Any way we can repay you. You got it. Transferring now. Fly safe now.
Greetings.
seem dull, but I can't think of any world that truly is. Every world has a unique origin and history of events, even without life in the mix.
Hello. I am satisfied to see that you survived your most recent sleep cycle.
Oh, good, you're up. Let's just pick a star and go. What do you think?
If you are in need of supplies, I suggest seeking.
You arrived at just the right time, stranger. We have a subterranean scanner that's been gathering data nearby. And perhaps scared, venturing too far away. Could you get the latest? I was hoping you'd say that.
Stay back! Stay away! Don't you come close! If you value your life, I'm sick. It's killing me. Okay? I sure hope you know what you... You are saving my life. How I will rest until I'm feeling well enough to leave. I cannot thank you enough.
You're carrying a lot. Do you want to take a moment to shuffle things around?
Fieldwork's always been my passion. I can't imagine being stuck behind a desk. This extra data will put us way ahead of schedule. Here, this is for you. I only... It's a great day to be... Ah, a good Samaritan, are you? There's plenty to be done around the outpost. Army? There are a suite of odd jobs available through our mission board. Keep it down on your way over. It's it's a treat. Goodbye.
This unit is performing a software update. Please do not.
goods I sell, the less take is from me. Take your time. Go at peace.
I miss my dear darling in New Atlanta. Yes? What?
I'd stay out here forever if
Mind giving me a little space?
Sorry, I don't have time
I'm
to
working
talk.
with some
I owe the
really
lead
fragile
researcher a
samples.
report by the end of the day.
That barely took any time. You know, for every hour of experimentation, there's sometimes weeks of lab work, or more.
We are in your debt. Hello.
huge medical breakthroughs here, thanks to the local flora.
You the new lab rat?
I wonder what sort of science they're up to.
Captain Hicks, do you require my assistance? Hello, Captain.
Welcome to New Homestead. Please make your way to the building at the end of the path and down into the colony below. Stay safe and enjoy your visit.
We're asking everyone to take care of any leeches on their ships. We don't want any Terramore storming through here.
Don't stay outside. The people here live a simple life. Try not to complicate it.
We take
Finally.
Heads up.
A museum. Now we're in the good stuff.
Damn power's on the fritz again. Joyce always seems to need
It's
help
been a
clearing
while
the
since I
ice
last
off the
visited.
equipment.
Nice to see this place still has the same charm.
Feel free to look around, but do not touch.
I don't mind the tourists. They have lots of history here if you're into that sort of thing.
The elders say that preserving our tradition is so important, but I keep hearing such wonderful things about... Ah, someone new. Are you a tourist, or have you just moved? Well, there's lots to learn. You can always feel free to try one of the historical tours, or... I'm fascinated by the other worlds in the settled systems. Oh, wonderful. What's New Atlantis like? Oh my, that sounds incredible. Ever since we hear about it, of course, but we rarely get much exposure to... I wonder if I can convince Nathaniel. Do you mind if I ask you another? Thanks. I promise not. Is the Freestar Collective as lawless as I've heard? I figured the stories weren't all true. How else would you expect people to live together? Even in a small community like ours, we have to maintain... Though, I understand it gets difficult to always protect that out in the vastness of space. Is it okay if I change the subject? Oh, thank you. Are there really planets full of plants, fresh air, and water? I've read about them. I've only ever known Titan, and I've always dreamed of visiting one to breathe the air, feel the warmth of its sun. Can I ask you something else? Oh, wonderful. Is space travel as exciting? Well, you've convinced me that I simply must... Most of us here have never left the surface of New Homestead. It's a point of pride among many. Those are all the questions I have at the moment. Thank you so much for taking...
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. For me, it's just how we live.
I always wonder what it's like where other people come from. Hello? I'm not really supposed to talk with Torres. You're not going to tell him, are you? Oh. I guess that's okay. I wouldn't want to... Not really. There's some, though. Most are around... My mama says it's because he thinks we'd up and leave if we found out about the rest of the worlds out there. But I keep telling him, I love it here, and I love him, and I would never leave him. He doesn't believe it. He says the kids almost always want to leave when they grow up. But not me. Nope. I don't know. We mostly learn about the history of the solar system and Earth and stuff like that until we get old enough to go on our learning vacation. That's when we get to leave to go to school somewhere else for a few years, or travel and visit other worlds, try out jobs. I think it's pretty fun. And they say we all have to work a little, because it takes all of us. Someday, I think it'd be cool to see other places and do other things. Bye!
Enjoy your visit here.
I'm learning so much here. Everyone should visit at least once in their life.
It's one thing to learn about
glad
early
they have
colony
a
life.
chunks here.
It's another to experience it.
I still can't believe people actually live like this.
Did you see those wind turbines out there? Wow.
Thanks for choosing Chunks. Which chunks can I get for you?
Welcome to Chunks. Please choose your... Thanks for choosing Chunks. Which chunks would you like today? Ugh. Honestly, you're probably better off not thinking about it. I'm happy to serve.
Hello there. Welcome to the new Homestead Chunks. Sadly, we're out of the special sauce. I know. So. Sure. If I'm completely honest, it is. And people are always saying how this Chunks can't compare to the real deal. And I just know it's because we never had that mouth-watering sauce. I've been in contact with some of the other restaurants out there, and they'll give me some, but they say they can't afford to send it. For real, good question. They haven't said, but I think it has something to do with them prioritizing. I guess it's made at a different facility than our other food, and they don't even want to pay the shipping cost to ship from another. Yeah, sometimes I get lucky and a cargo hauler passes through with a route that takes them near other chunks and back again, but there's no... Wait, for real? Oh, of course. Between what I've got personally and the petty cash, I'm sure. So, I know of another chunk that has a case of sauce ready to go for me. I actually cleared it. If you mention it to whoever's working the counter there, they'll hook you up. Bring it back here.
I can't imagine living here.
Well, what did we think of the tour?
Very informative. I
Hello
didn't know
there.
about the methane harvesters.
The museum here.
perfect charm, doesn't it?
Just like the rest of New Homestead.
Hello there. Are you here to peruse our little...
See us again sometime, and I hope you'll consider another Starsap tour. Tell your friends.
I will. Thanks again.
Wonderful. There isn't much of this stuff left outside of private collections, but if you have any questions about the exhibit...
That little boy almost wound up on my operating table. Claudio said he was playing with some of the machinery down by the mine
Thanks for
and nearly got his
visiting.
arm stuck inside. It could have been ripped off.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, kids, little troublemakers. I'll tell the guests to be more careful.
Damn right. You've got to do something, or else next time it happens, I'm billing you personally.
Yeesh.
Great. Another tourist. Let me guess. You slipped on the ice and need a doctor. They do, but they're also a terrible burden for a small colony doctor like myself. I have enough trouble treating our own people with the time... Maybe. I'm sorry if it sounded harsh. I'm just frustrated. However, I think if you walked a mile in my shoes... Anyway... It's a harsh world, but as long as you're inside or wear a suit, there's no breathable air on the surface, and you'll quickly freeze to death outside without protective gear. New Homestead was an early colony research base and has stood the test of time. It's safe, and it's proof that people can live. Don't worry so much. I don't. They make a mock, and on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before, I feel like I'm treating them more often than our... Actually, maybe there is. I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown, instead of myself. I've got a mountain of work, so I bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive to give me some relief. That's the spirit. To be honest, I'm not sure it'll work either, but here's the costume. I think this will work. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book...
There are times I envy those who are able to travel like you. Hello there. Wonderful. There isn't, if you have. Of course. Certainly. We have several items, and we have everything from toys to antique technology to sports memorabilia. We even used to have an old Earth vehicle, but most of our collection was donated by fellow Earth and... I am Maurice Leon, and I am the community elder. As the oldest living citizen at 96, my only job is to keep Earth history. I tell stories to the young people and the visit, although my memory isn't what it used to be. When our early colonists learned of Earth's demise, they decided to take on the names of their cities of origin as a way to... Now, some may have been lost in translation over the years, and some may have taken it more seriously than others, but the names are mostly... For instance, my family comes from the city of Lyon, in a country that was called France. It's an interesting story. New Homestead began as a scientific research base called the Titan Astrobase, back when space travel was in its infancy. The hope was that humanity would be able to discover simple alien life here given the moon's... When that ultimately failed, it was repurposed as a colony research base where scientists and engineers studied. Then, finally, when gravity drives were commonplace and we started finding Earth-like planets, New Homestead was born as a living history community to preserve that past. Take care. We live a simple life on New Homestead, but make no mistake, it's fulfilling.
New Homestead's quite the learning experience. Bring your kids!
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here. I wonder how they can live
Why, hello there! I'm Bill Starsap. For instance, did you know that New Homestead was one of the first colonies established outside of Earth? It's been populated in some capacity for over 200 years! I knew you were a fellow history buff. Well, tell you what, you come along on one of my little tours. So what do you say? I've got an... None taken. I get it all the time. I come from an eccentric family. Back in the early days of space travel, they wanted a name that seemed like it fit into the stories they grew up with, so they changed their last... Used to be Bramblefoot before that. Their ancestors liked, Excellent! Now there's just the matter of price. The going rate... Great! Let's get... All right, so... This is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astrobase, was finished in 2130. Follow me. We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. But first, let's go see where people live. Now remember, these people aren't actors. They actually live here, so try to be respectful of that. While the original inhabitants of the Titan Astrobase lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144. Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here, but more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me. Have any questions so far? Alrighty, we'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator.
Do you have a spaceship? I want to get a spaceship when I'm older. They're so cool.
Careful. There are some dangerous areas around here that aren't part of any tours.
Ah, to lay eyes on the Earth just once.
Welcome to New Homestead.
Why do we have to farm? How is that part of our tradition?
Well, we tend to farm here because we need to grow food. And that's what our ancestors did on Earth.
But didn't they have big open fields?
I could
and
really
giant
go for
machines?
some onions cooking over
We
at the
don't
Brown
have any of
Horse.
that.
It's because we have a much smaller space to work with.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died. These pods are sealed and climate controlled, the perfect environment for growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony.
You all can travel the stars, but someone's got to respect and preserve the old soul traditions. I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara, filling her head with ideas about things. You got anything to say for... Listen here. Mara's free to make her own decisions. I'm not here to control her if that's what you're insinuating. But that doesn't mean I take kindly to other people manipulating her and telling her the other worlds are full of sunshine and rainbows. We live a simple traditional life here, and it's important to the community that we maintain them. Did you? Well, she should know better than to talk with tourists like you, but that's between me and her. Now, you might want to consider heading off before you cause any more trouble.
Any questions about the farms? Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses... But for now, it's just a short way to our next... So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan Astrobase. Sadly, they're undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for
Would be nice to
microbial
get
life
off-world
here.
sometime.
Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about... You got it! On to our next stop! Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit because it's a bit chilly out there.
Those
We're
folks
going
in
out into
Sidonia may
the
be
frozen
closer to
wastes of Titan
we do
to
a
see
better
what
job
powers
preserving
this
its
planet.
traditions.
Watch your step outside, by the way. The ice can be slippery if you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
New
homestead is a living history exhibit. But these are real people, so please be kind to them.
Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Powering new homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astro base. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today. The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right, New Homestead's famous wind farms. This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds. These turbines have been integral to the colony's function since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity. So, let's talk about wind. You're the boss. Let's go. Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources. Titan is rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane.
Practice shot.
You thought you fools of the stuff on your descent into New Homestead. I like to think they add to the natural beauty of this world. So of course, stay away from them because, like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex-wife's pet. She has this gorgeous, I don't know what you'd call it, creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. The feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand. Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she... But enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right? Hey, can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They had this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled system. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. That's how this place has remained operational as long as it has. I'm not going to take you too close to the machinery, liability and all, but I can still answer questions. Questions? Okie dokie, artichokey. There will be time for more later anyway. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour. Fun fact, it's also the only natural landmark on the tour. What we're about to see is a glacial spire we affectionately call Emir's Horn. This collis used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, colles, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here. So here it is, Emir. How about that? You really know your stuff. Maybe you should be the one. I'm not sure. I heard someone say that before. Something about the worn down remain. I don't know. It sounds like you understand. Excellent. On to... So, we're gonna head back inside through the methane processing plant. Try not to touch anything on your way. We want to make sure to respect Dr. Lakota's wishes to be safer around here. Ah, that brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth, as a way to remember the past. The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it. You'll find most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and I respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
Again? That's the second time this month.
I know.
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on the operation. Since methane production is such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface. You're welcome to keep your suit on if you'd like. As you might expect from a place called the ice mines, it can get a little chilly. It takes miners working daily to clear the ice, melt it down, and keep the water flowing. What else can I tell you about the ice mines? Sounds good. Let's keep going then. We have just one more stop before we're done with the tour, and it just happens to be my favorite. This colony is home to the longest running establishment still in existence, the Brown Horse Tavern. The Brown Horse started as a simple mess hall for the scientists and workers when the underground was built, but it's been operated by the same family ever since. Now, what's a horse, you might say? They were a large four-legged animal on Earth, often used for transportation or manual labor. Long before space travel was even a dream for the folks of Earth, even before antique machines like automobiles were possible, horses could be found everywhere. You might have seen them in old movies or read about them somewhere. If not, I highly recommend looking into them sometime. They're beautiful animals. The tavern's original owner was infatuated with them, from what I understand, and named the place in their honor. The moniker, Brown Horse Tavern, is also a throwback to names of similar Earth restaurants hundreds of years before it was established.
This is a pretty common method of mining on Snowball planets even today. It may be low-tech, but it's effective.
That delicious smell is making me hungry. Easy. All the other ones fell to ruin when we abandoned Earth. There were technically older ones on Mars, but those have long since... Okay then. All right, we're headed to the last stop. Right back where we began. Feel free to check out the museum exhibit in the main concourse here. These displays are full of rare Earth trinkets salvaged from before humanity left, and Maurice is happy to talk about the collection. The museum's curator, Maurice, will be happy to talk to you if you want to know more. Well, that's that. I hope you...
Adrian, what can I do for you today, young lady?
Sorry to hear. I tried to make it educational at least. Take care!
We used to get more tourists than we do these days.
You get used to the methane processing smell after a while. Whew, I was starting to think you forgot about me. Well, well, well. Look what the cat dragged in. Take it easy.
If you need medical attention, see Dr. Lakota. But a word of warning, she really doesn't care for tourists. So then I told him that we
Welcome, I'm Anya. Is this your first time with us at the Brown Horse Tavern?
You didn't.
Oh, well, thank you for joining. We've got an assortment of food and drinks, some of which follow. So, what can I do for you?
Aren't they going to think we're even more old-fashioned than they already believe?
The locals pretty much stay away from chunks, so whenever they don't feel like cooking themselves, only the tourists eat that junk. He manages the chunks. I love him.
You're probably right.
Let me show you what we have. Hope you'll be back sometime.
Hi there. Always nice seeing a new face.
That tour guide showed one of the kids a picture of some silly drawing.
Well, hello there, and welcome to my little shop. Are you visiting New Homestead for the first time? Oh, nice. You know, it's always such a pleasure. I'm Jay. I'm happy to help you find what you're looking to buy or take a look at whatever you want to sell. Trade, or if you have any questions for me about the shop, the merchandise. Glad you asked. I'm looking for all sorts of things. Anything, really. Clothing, weapons, jewelry, even stuff they consider... We don't get a lot of off-world stock, so I offer to buy things from travelers. Anything that... Between you and me, people around here talk a lot about tradition and whatnot, but even they get... We used to, but not... We don't really have the resources or facilities to make them here ourselves, and it was decided that anything less than that would seem exploitive of our people. Only thing we have are these souvenir slates about the history of New Home. Tell you what, I've got an extra one here that another guest left behind a while back. Sure thing. I'm also... Maybe we can make it... Come back anytime.
All these tourists are able to come and go as they please. I wish I had that kind of... Oh, you don't really want to talk. Besides, I'm not really good at talking to tourists about New Homestead. If you're really interested in our history, talk to Maurice. You do? I mean, sure. I don't know what I can tell you, but if you want to talk, I don't have anything else I need to do right now. The crates are what we call the living quarters for the poor people, like me. They're made from old shipping containers. We have to make do with the space we have here. They're comfortable enough, I guess. And no one on Titan is well off to begin with, but you can tell that people look down on us, especially some of the tourists. Okay, well, no, not the studies specifically. Like, I get good grades when I'm able to apply myself. But I'm poor. I just don't have the kind of money to be a full-time student and support myself. Even living in the cheap-ass crates. I keep having to take odd jobs just to put food on my plate. And when I do, my grades suffer. What? Really? I don't know what to say. This is beyond kind of you.
That was a kind thing to do. If only birthright wasn't the barrier to knowledge. Maybe someday. I hope the lawyer on Gagarin...
Thanks again for what you did for me.
Before we arrive.
I'll remember your generosity. See you around, maybe.
Those folks in Sidonia may be lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
It's always so cold here.
Sure would be nice to get off-world sometime.
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here. I wonder how they can live anywhere else. Yeah, I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
We used to get more tourists than we do these days.
No disrespect, but I'd appreciate if you let me and my family be.
We were learning about Jemison in my class the other day.
It's a little weird that people come. I'm here to see what early colony life was like.
If you want to go
Maybe
there
it's
for your
just how
learning
we live.
vacation when you're older, you may, but not until then.
Hope you're not looking to cause any trouble in that costume of yours.
It's going to eat us!
Wow, that's some costume you've got there. Ah! Get away from me! You get used to the mental processing style after a while.
Hi there. Always nice seeing a new face.
Hello?
Careful. There are some dangerous areas around here that aren't part of any tours.
If you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. I'll bet they won't be coming back in. Thank you. With any luck, I'll be able to tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times, I'll...
quality handiwork.
I kind of want to try food from that Chunks place, but my papa says it's just a bunch of junk food for tourists.
Must be nice to be able to afford to travel.
We live a simple life on New Homestead. But maybe...
Forget to sleep when you're on a long haul? Never realize how important a horizon is until it's not there. imagined you. So is it customary to give the mantis? The mantis never takes a reward. I can't believe we were rescued. Wait, so this is free? You both gotta be... Happily. Take this. So damn classy. You're my hero. Well then, thank you, Mantis.
About how tenacious life must be to cling to planets like this. Even humans would struggle.
Greetings, Captain. How can I be of service, Captain?
Ever heard of personal space? Hey, interested in making... Scanners picked up some mineral deposits in a cave nearby. We need some boots on them. And get a taste of the minerals. Make sure it's worth... You can keep anything you dig up, as long as we can... Thank you. Much...
Warning. I am programmed to prioritize the completion. This is an active industrial site. It would be advisable to wear a hard hat.
Might be able to salvage some raw materials from this place.
With this data, we can get our operations up and... Here, this is yours. Not many would have done that. Don't let the boss fool you. People like me do the real work around here.
Watch your step. I'm counting on minutes until my contract's
The hell are you doing all the way out here?
The supervisor okayed me selling off our extra minerals. It's not every day that I get a new... Let's trade. Stay safe out there. If you fall into one of the mine shafts, you're on your own. What I wouldn't give to be knocking back a cold one at the hitching post right now.
If I'm lucky, they'll promote me to a desk job. Keeping these miners in always could use a hand. Current details are listed on the mission terminal. Making our fortunes once we get this stuff back to Jemison. Okay, thanks.
All right. And maybe we can work something out.
Exactly. Talks like these always work better in person. We can hash things out, break bread, the whole deal.
Well, normally I would say no. All right, you can do.
I am not sure what to make of you being here. If you wanted to kill us, you could have done that from your ship. If you wanted our cargo, we could have jetted. I guess I should just stop talking and let you say your... That is not something I am going to do. As far as you are concerned, I am Austin Rake. Now, do you mind telling... You really do not know which one of us is... And you do not seem to care either, which makes me... Okay, I have idea. We can strike his name from Manifest, Then, when we dock, we will leave him on this ship and deliver him to another... That is fair. We do not want... Is that all right with you, Austin?
Do I have a choice?
It does not appear you... Well then, it is agreed. You go back to your ship and we will make sure Rake was never on ours. And in case any of your handlers get suspicious, here. We had an extra crate of supplies. This should be proof you were not here.
I thought we were dead. I can't believe it.
This unpleasantness...
So you're the fleet's new dog, huh?
The people of New Homestead will be... Thank you for letting us go.
I thought we were dead. Can't believe it.
This unpleasantness...
We will make sure Rake's name is... And I hope you do not take this the wrong way, but...
Captain Higgs, do you require my assistance?
Deja vu here. Huh.
Hello.